News Radio 740 KTRH.
We're glad you're here. Matt Patrick, Sheriff Fryer, Houston's Morning News. We're also very happy to have appellate court attorney Byron Henry. Mr. Henry, thank you for your time. Look, very simple question. Trump, of course, has to choose a Supreme Court nominee. One, I think it'll be far more during his tenure as president. But there are other court cases that can easily go away. And these were things that Obama did, you know, executive action, and they can be reversed, correct? And how long does that take?
That's correct, Matt. There's two classes of cases that we're talking about here when a new president comes in, especially a president of a different party. There's the cases that involve executive orders or executive actions, and those would be typified by the probably the most well-known case is the immigration case where President Obama issued the executive orders with respect to immigrants with children that were here illegally, attempting to legitimize their status and give them work papers, despite the fact that that's in derogation of the laws passed by Congress. Those kind of cases can literally, on the first day in office, those executive orders can be rescinded. And those cases, you know, once the proper motions are filed, but almost immediately those cases are mooted. In other words, they just go away. They're no longer an active case on a court's docket as soon as it's brought to the court's attention that the executive orders have been rescinded.
Let me ask you this. So let's just walk through this. He does this. So what about the cases that are in the middle of it? I mean, you know, you got attorneys taking care of this, you got judges looking at this case, or people that have already gone through this. What happens to them? Especially my concern, I guess, are the ones that they're right in the middle of. What happens then? It just goes away?
Well, in an executive order type case, if the executive order is the basis of the action, if the executive order goes away or is rescinded or a new executive order is put in place, there's no longer a case or controversy. So there's no longer anything to fight about, especially when the federal government is a party. Now, if it's a case, for instance, between a school district and an individual party, such as the transgender bathroom, locker room case that came out of Virginia and that's percolating up to the system, where the federal government's not actually a party to the case, but the federal government issued, the Department of Education issued a directive basically altering what we understood about Title VII and the way that law works. If the new Department of Education issues a new directive once President Trump takes office, then if the court relied on the Department of Education's directive, then they'll have to reconsider the case under a new Department of Education interpretation of the law.
Wow.
So that's another way these cases can go away, is when a new executive agency, that's the other class of cases, when you have your new labor secretary, your new education secretary, and a new president, which is basically their boss, issuing the way they are going to view the law, the way the take they're going to have on the law. If that changes, then the courts are going to have to reconsider all of those cases, and in a lot of times those cases will go away as well.
Wow. Appellate attorney Byron Henry. Hey, that was really good, Byron. I appreciate you doing that. That was
He did it fast.
He did, yeah, you did it fast.
And made it understandable.
Exactly right. I understood pretty much everything that you were saying, because sometimes I'll talk to somebody like you, and about halfway through I'm going, oh, God, I don't know what they're talking about. But no, you did it. So I want to thank you, my friend. I'm going to have you back on more often. Is that okay?
It's my pleasure, Matt. Anytime.
Thank you, sir. Appellate attorney Byron Henry. Not just a brilliant man, but
Was he laughing with us or at us?
No, he's laughing with us. But he's a man that can speak to us, and I can understand him. Thank you, sir.